We just started.
For the first time.
Do you know when I first started working the job, one of the first days, I was like so nervous because you're voting. I'm sorry, but I was standing really quietly. This is difficult.
One of the first things you had to do was you were dancing. And you were nervous. You were very nervous.
Wait, which dance?
The most beautiful woman in the world, and she's like, you just make me look fat.
I wish now I had known what the meaning was. Amazing!
Our Smallville life overlapped just a little bit. But ours didn't.
Not at all. Until today.
So I had time to be rolling at some point.
Yeah, fashionable things. Good luck. Although he won't planes, he doesn't do that.
I do have one question for you. Were also Haiti.
Yeah.
What was it like going from this show into the Haiti world and working with those things? Because
Great.
Arlo is, you love Arlo, but you're also like, she loves him. So how was it being on the Haiti set?
It's so great. I've never talked about David. That's like a whole fandom thing, isn't it?
It is. Still is.
Couple of people. Yeah, it was great. It was, we shot in Canada and Canadian. That's always lovely. But Arlo was a troubled soul. Just, yeah. It was fun to watch prosthetics, which is always fun as well. Yeah. That didn't really answer the question, sorry.
Obviously, coming from the Duke world into the DC universe, how was that transition?
Oh, it was wonderful because I grew up watching Superman. So I was a fan of the television show, and of course I was a fan of the movies that came out Christopher first. And it was just wonderful. So I was ready to go, but I had to read the pilot first because I didn't want them to ruin my story. And so I was like, yeah, I really don't know. Because Alan and Miles were fans of the Dukes, so they grew up watching Dukes, and then they were like, this just might work, And I was very protective of, you call him my Superman, but I was very protective of my vision of what Superman was. And when I read the pilot, I thought, oh my God, these people either love Superman more than I do. Because it was the best thing I ever read. So it was a delightful transition. I did a show after that was really something. We did in Smallville, we shot for 10 months. 10 months to do 20 shows, 22 shows. And on Hatchet and Knox, we shot for 2 weeks to do 22 shows. Thank you so very much. Yeah, it was typical working with Tyler. It was like already being an expert skydiver, being up in the plane with Tyler and having him hold on you and take your parachute and throw it out. One. Okay. Yeah, it was great.
And Erica,
Yeah.
stepping in as well as
It was like jumping out of a speeding train. And I was happy. It was a very successful trip. So I was pleased. I had watched the show a few times, and I told people a million times that I was a booking background on the show and stuff like that. So it was a weird transition, and I didn't expect it. But I got the show on Friday. I was working on a Monday, and I just freaked out when mid first episode, and then freaked out for about 4 years. And then I was like, well, I'm still here, so I guess it's all right.
Can each of you talk to kind of the audition process, that early process of when each of the characters were introduced? Because obviously, Kim from the beginning, but each of you came in at different times of the show. Can you each talk individually about those stepping in processes, auditioning, screen testing, stuff like that?
Go, Laura. Okay. So my process was I did a self-tape. I was in Toronto shooting another show, much younger show Smallville. I knew Smallville was a huge show. I thought Supergirl was like his girlfriend. So I was very excited about that opportunity. And then I did a little research and I was like, dang it. But also this is cool. So I did the tape and, you know, I think it was a couple months, didn't hear anything. And then I got a call. I was up north at my college with my family, and they were like, you need to get to LA tomorrow. So went home, quickly got packed. They flew me to LA the next day for a screening test. And it was like all the executives, the big decision makers, and they put me in a room with 3 other girls. And so the 3 girls and myself were all just looking at one another, like, they shouldn't put us in that situation. And I introduced myself to everyone, everyone was lovely, and then one by one they took us in. We did our scenes, came back out, and then they came into the room and said, told everyone to go home, but told me to stay. And I thought I was in trouble. And so they kept me there overnight, and then we got the call and I got the job. And I think like a week later, I was in Vancouver, in the wires, flying. Like, it was instantaneous. And it was my first time being away from home. So I was in a new city, long hours that I never had, a huge American show. I was a fan of everybody, so I was, every day like Erica, I was anxious, nervous, I'm gonna get fired, like all the feelings. And I don't think I really, you know, settled until I was off the show. So, yeah, it was great. And we're still here, and we still get an opportunity to, you know, see you guys and appreciate all of the encouragement that we get at shows, and it's been wonderful. Started the U.S. side of my career.
It was still a little thought. But I'm not sure that they knew. I was at the stage where everybody wants to get this show done, and they've got a start date, they think, but they also had Gotham. They had pitched Gotham, and Gotham did not go over well in my understanding. It was like, oh, it's dark, and you know, the superhero stuff doesn't really work, because the superhero stuff really hadn't worked all that well on television until Smallville. There was a big gap between Lois and Clark and Smallville. But no one had really explored that universe the way that Miles and Howard did. But they also had Birds of Prey. So they had these 3 shows, and you know, and all Smallville was so successful, everybody likes to think, well, this was just an absolute shoot, they were going to make this show. No, there were 3 shows. So I think they were kind of putting together different casts for, you know, at least in their minds, like who these people would be. So when I came in, Rosenbaum didn't have the part yet. I didn't meet Tom in the just like you haven't met Tom.
I think Kristen had a partner with people like you.
It might have been probably a bit long, because she wasn't, I didn't do anything with Kristen for like 3 or 4 years, except Ron was kind of in the room and I didn't really talk. But it was really great, because this was when everybody was, you know, we were all wanting to the part after I read the pilot, because I thought that was, for me, I got it. But what this side of the table never knows about that side of the table is that you've done 4 or 5 series, is that side of the table is scared to death too, because the network may pull the whole thing. I mean,
Some random person that doesn't know anything about
yeah,
art.
so it's,
I just stand up like her hair.
so we're not going to do that, we're going to do this other one. You know, take which is why I have Gotham and which is great. Right? So it was great, because Pete was there, Chloe was there, and Whitney was there, and Love and Tom was not there, and Rosenbaum was
It's not there, no. It's still not there.
We still have.
Right.
But it was really great, because the material was so great. You know, we weren't trying.
Okay, set it up.
When you guys came in, it was already a course. But when we started, it was just a whole thing. You know, so it was quite wonderful. Once these folks came on, well, President Miles on it. In front of you, one of the directors wants to post it. No, it really was. Stop. It really was.
I think our role is hangover. No, on set with him was not like this either. Like, I was always on time, he was always professional, I was always stressed because if he got to the set before me, I was a stressed examiner. But for years, I'm learning slowly not to be me. I interrupted you. Sorry. Oh my gosh, process. Let's keep saying it. It's like, nah, I'm not interested. It was so fast. Like I said, I didn't think that they would hire anybody that was taking in for listening at all. So I almost didn't do it. I was in the parking lot and I was like, I'm gonna do it. And then the manager said, go. And so I did. And then, I went down and auditioned. And then on Saturday, I had to do a week with Tom. And we've told people this a ton of times and we still argue about it. We argue all the time. I didn't know that if he didn't like me, I would be fired. And he says, no. But, so he was mad because he got brought back early to read with Lois from his hiatus, so he was not pleased. And I had no idea about the energy of all that, so I just went to kind of go upstairs and read, and I ran into this like lumbering big dude as he was like coming across the room, and that was him. And I was like, oh, that's him. And then he went into the other room, and then we sat and we read together, and it all seemed to go okay, but I didn't know that he could have. So she's out of there.
Probably could have done that with any of us.
I know. I was like, oh, this is gonna be so fun. And I was only gonna be there for like 4 episodes. So, I mean, what did I have to lose? And then I ended up being there for 7 years. You guys are so polite, so like everybody shaking hands, and I don't know. I love it down here. Harvey was telling me I was pretty still. So thanks. Yes. No, you don't care about it. When you're my age, you like an occasional cat call. You like people to talk to me.
Wait, following after Erica? There you go. This is the
I like that. That was
Still getting like burns from all the shade that's been thrown.
Oh, you got more.
he's impervious. He won't. But as soon as he left you guys away, he'll feel bad about that. But it's not his fault for sure. Somebody did tell him something.
Are there any favorite bloopers or behind the scenes moments that we on this side never got to see that still stand out?
I always remember the one, and I've told this on the panel before, so I'm sorry if anyone's heard it, but when Cara was teaching Clark to fly, many times, but one in particular, we're in the loft, and she's supposed to like edge him towards the opening of the barn doors and encourage him. So we did a couple takes of that, and he turns around and he's like, I'm all ready. One of the takes, I pushed him and he fell. Out of the barn door, down. And I was like, well, there's my job. And I looked down and he had put a gurney pad down there. Everyone was in on it. And he gave me the finger. He always had a good time on the show, but it was like my first season and I thought I killed Superman. Like, I could see the headlines, Canadian actress banned from the show. So yeah, that was one of my memorable blooper experiences. Blooper there.
Luther Cork had done something to poison the water and my cows died. So I don't remember why, I don't know what that was about, but Tom and I were out by the fence and surveying the cows. They were all dead, right? So a bunch of dead cows out there in the field. And they were fake cows. And a breeze came up and blew the fake cows.
What would a big house made of?
sign an NDA. I'll be in trouble. No, I can't beat you guys. Like, there was nothing that I can think of, like, you know, Rosie always would play jokes on everybody because he was super comfortable and manic, and that's how he relaxed into his set. So he would screw you up 4 seconds before you had to do something. And then he'd like dial it in really fast, and you'd be like, what the heck was that? And then the stuff that happened with me was generally unintentional humor, but everybody was laughing at me. Because I would get stuck in like, I don't know, I would trip, I would get a bad pratfall, like get hit in the head by various objects. I was really clumsy, and so it gave people something to laugh at. Hilarious. Is he coming? God, it's gonna be over. There's just, he should come here and go, don't say anything that we can say. Just, you guys like just look totally silly.
So, Smallville reunions have really started picking up. What's it been like? Have there been any others that you have not gotten to work with that you're finding unique? Anyone that you're like,
Cast members are nice to see.
yeah, you got to see like panels and reunions.
I haven't met Martha yet. I didn't see the character.
The character.
And her as well.
I haven't seen that since we stopped. Yeah, I love seeing that. She's wonderful. Love to see her husband, Michael, you know, that's kind of a comedian. Mary White is an actor too. Actual husband. They were nominated for the Academy Award for the song, I think. They were looking for a silly movie, A Mighty Wind. Mighty Wind, yeah. I remember when they were waiting to see if they won. Anyway, no, I don't, because I have not met other people who were on the show that I have not met. I have not met them. So I have no angst. I don't know who. I spent some time with, oh gosh, tall blonde guy.
Alan?
Oh, the guy with the green hair.
Oh, Justin.
He was great. We overlapped somehow. I think when I came in as a vision or a ghost or whatever it was, I was, oh, you see that? Sure, it's all I know is I was, you know, dancing like a clown, and I went up next to a fence with a hammer. With long hair. It was great. But we spent a little time together. He was great. I tell you, I love being out because I think he's quintessential Jack Reacher. And I think he does such a wonderful job. I'd like to meet him. I think that'd be great.
It's very busy right now, it seems.
I know. If you read it, it's a whole other thing. The Christian novels are great. Alan loves Tom Cruise, but fun. Yes, Jack Reacher is 6'6", 280, and Tom is not. But if you haven't seen Mission Impossible, you haven't seen the last one of those, do yourself a favor. IMAX, that boy, it's amazing.
Just a few of us spent a week together on a cruise as a cast member. And you got, are you going to do next year? It was so much fun. I don't like the water. I know that from various cons and stuff like that. And I didn't really think about it because I'm always like jumping off to like, oh, this is great. It'll be great. Or I was like, it's on the water, right? And I was like, I had already signed the contract. And I was like, oh, yeah. So we're just water everywhere. This is great. But it's a boat.
And I hope you were afraid of the water until like the end of the cruise.
It was, maybe it was Tom.
Yeah.
I think he looked at me and goes, you know you hate the water. I was like, I know, here we go. But that was like a fun kind of experience for us in that sense. We like realized we're siblings, like, just like to get each other's joke all the time.
You guys meet Adrian as well. I hadn't met her before. She came on the cruise. She played the original Supergirl for an episode. And then I guess she was a fake. But she's so wonderful. She's a pilot.
Oh, wonderful too. Yeah.
She's rad. We had a great time with her.
Anyways, we're just talking about like this is what we do. We have no interest for you guys. Give me a break. Are we doing? I'm sorry.
No.
I just have to go. This is your job. Honest.
Do we have any questions from
soldier mentality like you had prior service when you were. It came off that way.
Thank you. No, I knew that, but I did not study that at all. At this time, I had 3 teenagers at home, so I was in full blown on that. And I tried to explain on several occasions, because Miles now had little kids. You know, we really are concerned about how preschool was that day, Johnny. Right? But when they get to be 16, you just don't care. You're just like, look, I got passion for you. What's going on? But I was able to pull from my experiences at home and bring them to the campfire. So thank you for that. I appreciate it.
It's great.
Tough.
Okay. I'll be my notes again. I won't get started. Let's do this. Question?
Oh yeah. Thank you so much. Oh my God.
I was going to say, one of the things I really love about Smallville is just the chemistry of the cast. It's lightly across the whole thing. So I wondered if anybody looked at series of projects outside of DC Universe just to bring that chemistry and meeting the actors.
Erica and I are. Sorry, Laura. Yes, Erica and I are doing a movie together.
Yes, we are.
For you, Erica. Oh, for you.
Should we go down there?
I have a question for you.
Should
My
we
question
join
for
it?
you. Actually, first, Laura, our daughter is named Kara. We named her after your character.
Why?
Because she's like, please don't, Mom. But my question is for you. So I think it's season 4. But season 4, there was episode, it was called Spell, I think. Yeah. Was that awkward for you to shoot? Like every time I watched that episode, I'm like, they seemed like, because they were having to overact so much. Was it
I was
awkward?
also very overacting at that stage.
But it was interesting. Like Chloe and Lana.
Oh, it was so uncomfortable. And we all just were laughing at the whole bizarre experience. We just tried to have fun with it. I remember the most discomfort that I had in shooting it is I'm so much taller than those girls. And so the Ronnie goes on, the other goes on, and then I would put my PC on. And then I realized they did the shot, they had to like face, boobs, face. And I was like, oh, this is not what I expected to have to do. I was like, maybe more episodes in. So I just was like,
Yeah, you were
oh, shame. Shove it in there.
Well, you did amazing. But all of y'all, I was like, I bet they felt so awkward shooting this. And it was just like, oh, just over the top dramatic. Yeah, so much. Thank you. I would say thank you for doing well in your character. We named her after you. If we had a boy, we named Clark. But she her name is Supergirl. When she was younger, like, what's your name? Like Supergirl? Oh, yeah.
She's so embarrassed right now.
This gentleman right here.
Erica.
Alright, thanks.
You want to do something?
I love Smallville. I'll be honest, it's my favorite show of all time. I have it #1 on my list, so it is my favorite show of all time. But I'm going to detour from Smallville and ask you a different question. If there's any role you've never played or anything you've written or seen you'd like to play right to the big screen, small screen, and theater, what would it be?
There's a book series called Gideon. The 3rd book just came out. Hey! And that's great. I optioned the rights to the series, and it's basically a female Dexter. So I've been trying to get that sold. I think it's a cool concept. I don't know what that is. But I love like the darker genre. I love being the villain. So that, or I'd love to play Catwoman. Yeah.
For me, any all Jane Austen stuff, so I love that period pieces. And then Nora Roberts wrote under the name of J.D. Robb, and I wanted to do that for a lot of years. I thought it would be really great. She's like a detective in the future. It's super cool.
Wow, that would be great. One of my favorite actors of all time, shootist, the latest version of it has a forward in it from the son of the man who wrote the book. And it talks about the experience of having John Wayne be with his dad's story and at the hospital at the same time, and having him have oxygen and all kinds of stuff. I don't think I could get the rights to do a movie about John Wayne, but if I could get the rights to the forward to that book, I could play John Wayne making the shoes. And I would really, really like to do that.
You play Michael.
I did. I played Michael Lennon and Michael Jr. First story. So that's what I got.
All right.
You know, we all ask the question, but we no one left to answer it.
We got Superman right here with a question.
I watched these cats back in the 70s when I was a kid. Smallville, unfortunately never saw it, but I want to talk about Leverage.
Leverage, oh my God.
Love Leverage. I watched it, the third grade run on Netflix or whatever. Have you ever considered doing a duet or an album with Christian Kings? I know he's in music.
Oh, I love to. The music in that episode was great. I love Christian music. We talked about it a little bit after the Expo and after it came out, but life kind of goes on. But I'd be absolutely open to it. I think he would too. He's talking about a show on Leverage called The Studio Job. It was the first time I got to be truly evil. And it was a lot of fun. Great show. And they redid it. I don't know how that was. They did it.
That was on one of the other streaming services. They've done 3 seasons.
Yeah. Is it okay?
Yeah, right. I like it.
Are they still doing it?
Yes.
Oh, cool. Excellent.
This is the panel for John Jeanette.
Well, I'm a lifelong news fan. In my opinion, I'm sure a lot of that everyone else's opinion, you played the best on-screen Jonathan Kent. Son with autism, as I do with I have a brother with autism.
Okay.
And what was your preparation going into treating someone like Clark Kent, Superman, with, as you said in one of the podcasts, special needs?
Right.
What was your preparation?
Thanks for pointing that out. That was great. Like I said, the kids at home was one thing. Being a Superman fan was another thing. So I was very protective of what I thought Superman should be. But my son has Asperger's, and that made me realize, and I don't know how I found it, but we were doing our actor talking stuff at one point early on in Smallville, and I said, well, my son at home, my real son, has special needs, but what that does for him is it gives him these amazing gifts. When an Asperger's child, when a autistic child focuses on something, you can't stop it. So it's not that they don't have the ability to multitask. It's they don't have the ability they can't not focus. So I knew that, and I kind of worked that into my intention when I was talking to Clark, and especially when I was talking to Martha about Clark. And I think that really helped Tom, because Tom is tall. If you ever meet Tom Welling, he is strong and he's sturdy and he's smart and he's thoughtful and he's all of those things. There's not a bit of or should there be a bit of insecurity in Tom. And if he played Clark Kent that way, he would have been pompous.
Great.
So I love the men of the show, but I think my favorite part of Smallville is there's all the female characters. What was it like? A strong, powerful women on the show. Because all of them are in their own unique way.
And they're all paid.
We appear nice. Well, I'll say that, they did write a show that we were allowed to be, at least for my character, I felt like I was allowed to be multi-dimensional. I was allowed to be human, I was allowed to be clumsy, I was allowed to not be the perfect person. I could fight with someone, the guy in my life, instead of constantly swooning. And so, it did stem from that for me. Laura?
Spider-Man is next. That's a great question. I agree with you. I mean, especially Roseanne and Lana, I've watched them before I was on the show. To play a female superhero on television, we've seen them later doing the movies. So I had some big boots to fill, literally. And the pressure was pretty ginormous for me, but the honor was even greater. So being able to portray a role like that for a younger audience at that time was wonderful. And I got to do all of my stunts as we were doing martial arts, so I love kicking ass, and I continue to do that with all my other projects like Big. So it's very important for me to, like Eric said, play complex women who are layered and tough and are breakable. We're not just one thing. I think the show allowed us to do that. That's a good question. Superman. Not Tommy.
Super big.
So I really have a statement when I do a question. And for the last 25 years, you all, in your own right, have been heroes of so many. My daughter, Laura, Erica, she says she wants to be just like you all. Me and my best friend growing up, when she came from Indiana for my birthday yesterday, admired you, John, and Tom. So thank you.
Thank you for the kind words. Thank you.
With this new movie, that the narrative is being kind to everyone, and that's a cool thing. But Smallville did that every week for 1 hour. Was push the kindness there. So thank you.
I'm not hippie, so.
You need to seal?
We're allowed to do the things that we can.
Thank you, Kat.
I borrowed my kryptonite bracelet, and I took a crystal from Fortress of Solitude. But then I sold it all to fund a film that I directed. So it was worth it. That's a business one.
I had a couple of shirts, but they all look the same, so I didn't have a bunch of solid shirts, but I had the knife from Talisman. I had a special one. But over the, I can't believe it's been, my God, it's been since 2001 when we started. So it's been a long time. I don't have any more, I'm not quite sure what happened to it. But it was in my possession on a shelf for a while. It was great to do them all handcrafted. And I had one with the knife with the blade on it, and one without for CGI.
I took my Resident play, my hat from the top from Disney Planet, and I may or may not have taken some of my costumes to my new costume.
Erica, at the next convention, you have to wear one of those costumes.
Yeah, the rose and blue, take the rose.
Rose and blue.